Right, good morning all. Welcome to the channel. We've got an unusual one for you today. We're not out on location like we normally are. Uh, we're at home. The brother's come down, Michael's come down.
Morning.
And it's just something that we've been thinking about for a while. Now it's going to be a bit of a book review, is this one, which may sound a bit strange, but the book in question, I first came across it in about 1986, I think it was, after a visit to my mum and dad's. My mum, a regular visitor to the library, she said, "Martin, have you seen this?" And basically, it's a book called Hard Up Husband, by a chap called James Turner, and it's from 1881 to 1882, late Victorian. So I had a read through, and it's like just 2 years in the life of a chap who was living in those days in late Victorian Halifax, which sort of did have some interest to myself and my family. Right, I think Michael had a read of it as well.
I've read it a couple of times. I read it probably early 90s, I think it was, when I actually took any notice of it. I think it is quite interesting because obviously it's where we were brought up, where we lived, went to school and played, and then obviously we've always been interested in a bit of history anyway, with obviously the Langham side of it, and it's very close to where his ancestors would have lived. They probably would have bumped into him. We never know really, but it's quite a strange book as a diary. You can see where he's actually come from in Salford and moved over to Halifax. There's quite a lot to the book, even though it's only a short book really. There's a lot of history of Halifax and Boothtown especially.
What I liked about it is it's mentioning places that were still there, or still here, or some of them are. It mentions working at Dean Clough, which were one of the main employers in Halifax up to 1980 when it closed down as a carpet mills. But I think, and I have mentioned it in the introduction to book 11, notes made at the time, it's one of the main inspirations why I actually started writing and keeping diaries. Like I say, I read it around about 1986. I joined the police in 87. That, along with my dad saying, "Why don't you keep notes and diaries?" And that's how these books that I've been writing over the years have actually come to being. So it was quite a big sort of inspiration, really. This guy, he must have been in his mid 20s, really. Michael's done a bit of research into his family. I think they came across from, was it Salford?
Salford, yeah. I'll just refer to my notes because obviously it's, but it would probably be, he came to Halifax roughly about 1885. His father was, he owned a shop, but what I've been able to glean from it, he moved to Halifax after sort of like splitting up with his wife. I think he had quite a successful shop at one time in a place called Regent's Road in Salford. There's nothing there now. It's just I had a quick look on Google Maps, and it's just like a bypass and modern industrial estate there. But going back to when obviously he'd moved over, and then his wife and kids followed him to Range Bank in Boothtown. So it's yeah, obviously they had big alcohol problems in them days, especially with the poverty and ill health. So it said it moved to a place called Rollins Building in Claremont. I don't know where that is. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was a workhouse as such, because obviously if it had been a workhouse, it'd have been split up as a family. Excuse me. And then the next place where they lived, at the bottom of Range Bank, which we'd done on the pub crawl from the prospect. So it's like some little houses on the right hand side going down towards town, as it would have been. And then the guy actually worked at Dean Clough for about 8 years. There were quite good wages at Dean Clough, so I think he had quite a lot of disposable income, and he said he used to work a couple of days and tap into his money and disappear for 3 or 4 days. I think this was before he got married, but it does imply that he did like the ale, so he probably went out on the pop and disappeared for a couple of days, as you know, young lads did or do sometimes. But I think after Dean Clough, after working there for about 8 years, he would have been married by that time. And then he went on to cart driving, which was a horse and cart around Halifax. And I think he was delivering pots and pans and ironmongery and stuff in the Halifax area. His wife was Martha Crowther, and she was 19 when they got married, so I think she was a dressmaker by the sound of it. So that's basically what I've been able to glean from it. He did have spells where he did try to better himself. He went to like night classes and tried to learn shorthand, and he had 2 children, but they were quite sickly children. One of them passed away.
I think that was a niece.
A niece,
yeah. It sounded, I mean, reading through, it sounded it was either TB or whooping cough, or perhaps even bronchitis, severe bronchitis. But the poor little mite passed away, and she was actually buried up in St Thomas's Church graveyard up at Claremont. I think probably maybe a pauper's grave, so it might not be.
I don't think it'd be a
I don't think
headstone.
it'd be a
no.
headstone.
I think a lot of headstones were removed in early 80s. I think. I remember
Yeah.
some of them being moved.
Yeah. What I liked, what I found interesting about the book is the sociological part of it. I think it's quite poignant and sad, really. It weren't just him. It gives you like a snapshot of life in Victorian era Halifax, where life was hard. There was very little medical attention, so the child mortality rate was quite high. I think they went on to have 8 children. Did James and Martha. So it's just I haven't been able to trace any of the family apart from the chap who was actually published this book. It's a great grandson of James, and he published it more or less 100 years after it was after the diary entries were made. They made a book of it, and it's just a lovely little book that you can pick up at Ackroyd Library at Halifax, Boothdown at Halifax. And it is, if you're interested in the local area, it is worth having a read through, because like I say, it's in his own words. He's not a famous diarist or anything like that, and I think that's what appealed to me when I started writing these books, just to write it all down, and it's just something you can, hopefully people will look back on in in times to come, and look at how life was as a police officer in the 80s, 90s, and up to the 2000s. So that was my inspiration of doing it. That's why I did it in the first place. Excuse me. Yeah, look, as Michael said, I think he passed away in 1908. Martha went on to live until 1936, so she outlived him by quite a few years. But it'd be interesting to find out what's actually happened to the 8 children. I understand that one of the Martha learned to write at some stage, and she sent her son a photo postcard when they were out in the trenches in the First World War. So we don't really know what's happened to the rest of the family, but yeah. So if you are interested, pop along to the library. We'll be taking the book back soon. There's a map in there of old Halifax, and we've actually got the magnifying glass out, and we can actually pinpoint where they were living and how it relates to our upbringing in Boothtown.
Yeah, because we're probably less than 200 yards away from Ambler Terrace, so it is very close. And, it's a nice little book, like Martin said. It's quite easy to pick up and put down. You don't have to read it all the way through, cover to cover, but it's nice to pick up, and if you've got a spare 10 minutes, just have a read through it. It's quite addictive, though. I mean, I don't get a lot of time to read books, sadly, but that one I did quite enjoy picking it back up again and looking through the pages, and it's not all gloom and doom. Some of it's quite funny, actually. I think it was involved with like an entertainment troupe where he was reckoned to be, and it's classic Victorian Edwardian, when he's reckoned to be a boxer. Obviously he stood on the stage with this pal who's doing a bit of rehearsals, and during this mock fight he has, there must have obviously the audience were there watching him, and he one of them reckons to throw a brick into the audience, which is I don't know what it was made of, but it wouldn't have been polystyrene. It must have been some kind of, might have been I don't know what it could be. But if you got hit by it, you'd probably know about it, but it wouldn't have been it wouldn't have been rubber or anything like that. I think it was just you can just imagine the old boxing scene. It just reminded me like Lauren Hardy type carry on.
It's like slapstick vaudeville style comedy. Yeah, so that's it has been an inspiration. I can't deny that. And it's good to revisit. Like I've always mentioned, revisiting the classics, like Robinson Crusoe and Kidnapped and all these other books that you read as a child or read at a younger age. But reading it like a few months ago, it does sort of, it makes you think what a struggle the people living in that time did. It was just, it was just the constant search for jobs and trying to better himself as it is nowadays. So not a lot's changed sort of that way. But it is worthwhile having a look. What we've decided to do, like I said, this is like a book review of the Hard Up Husband by James Turner. What we'll do in a couple of weeks' time, we'll actually go out to these locations and just pinpoint from the map that we've got, where these places were. He mentioned Anson's Mill, which is bottom of Range Lane. He mentioned another address opposite Dobby Hall, where the Langans settled when they moved to Halifax. So it is. It has got sort of tenuous links to our family, but it must have bumped into each other at some stage. It's nice to think that. Yeah. So, is there anything else you can think of?
I think that's about it. I'd definitely recommend the book. It's
Yeah.
I'll show you again. Just, but it's quite basic put together, really. I mean, that's the dates, but they have got some illustrations. Obviously, I think that's bottom of Range Bank, I think, and a view of I think that's the railway station at Halifax. Somebody must have put a correction in because it says, oh, they can see Haley Hill, but somebody's put, no, it's South Arran Bank and Beacon Hill. But some nice illustrations in there.
They look like pen and ink ones, or pencil drawings.
But we've got on the back.
The back there's the
original,
the
original one. So
diaries.
Good luck if you try reading that.
Oh, I just think it's, it is. It's. I find it fascinating. I really do, and I just glad that my mum picked it up from the library, so we'd have never have known about it, and I'd probably never even bothered writing any of my books. So I've got a lot to thank James Turner and his great grandson for getting it out there for everybody to read.
Yeah, brilliant. It would be nice if obviously the family, if there is any surviving members of them, to get in contact, or that'd be lovely.
Yeah. Right. Before we go, if you have enjoyed this, give us a thumbs up and a comment or subscribe. That's it. That's what I keep trying to get people to do. I must apologise. I've had a bit of a bad cold, so if I do sound a bit nasally, it's down to that. Anyway, it's a goodbye from me and a goodbye from him. Goodbye, and thanks for watching. Just enjoy the videos. We do.
Yeah.
Take care. I'll see you later.